After testifying before Congress, Jeffrey Epstein victims are going public now and, as you're about to see here, are going to start compiling and releasing names themselves in this shocking and breaking bombshell that you are about to see. These women are sick and tired of our politicians doing nothing about this and are taking matters into their own hands. Watch this, and then I'll finish with, and you're not going to believe this, an NBC interview wherein they asked the victims straight up if President Trump was involved. And President Trump has responded. I'm Zach Costello.
And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that.
All right, and then Epstein victim Shantae Davies dropped a name that we all know well was involved with Jeffrey Epstein here. She also mentions Trump, which sets up the stage perfectly for the final NBC interview clip.
2002, I was living in California, a young woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress. I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry. A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience, and when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life, and that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
So Jeffrey Epstein used Donald Trump's name as a flex for influence. Now, in this NBC interview clip, the victims are asked straight up about President Trump. Did anyone see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate related to Jeffrey Epstein? Here it is.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
Well, right there from the victims, Donald Trump isn't going to be one of those names that was involved, despite the claims from the Democrats that he is. Bill Clinton, though, should be spending the rest of his life in jail. President Trump responded to all of this when asked in the Oval Office about all of the victims speaking out right now.
Right now, there have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And Thomas Massie, who is sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on releasing those documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow-walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now, D.C., it's a totally safe zone. It's called a safe zone. That's a term. It's a term of art. It's a safe zone because it's very safe. You can walk down the street now and nothing's going to happen. No crime, no murders, no nothing. Because we had a lot of problems with certain places, and we still do, all run by Democrats, or for the most part run by Democrats. So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein whatever. I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from 2 people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
So one thing to note right there is that Thomas Massie isn't concerned about Trump being in the files himself, but his donors and allies. A Democrat hoax. The Republican-run House Oversight Committee demanded the release of the 33,295 pages of the Epstein files. The truth about who is implicated in these documents is being used for political positioning right now. Trump seems to have the cards, but what it comes down to is that we don't care about political leverage at this point. We want names. We want criminal prosecutions, regardless of political affiliation or whether or not they currently hold a position of power and influence. We want these individuals held accountable for what they've done. I'm Zach Costello.